Hello everyone from Anfield, where Liverpool have just kept up their really strong start to the new Premier League season by beating West Ham 3-1 here. It was not a really easy afternoon for them, another really tricky game where they've had to come through it, but it's a result that moves them up to second in the Premier League, just behind Manchester City, which is around about where you really want to be at this early stage of the season. Now, I know Liverpool would probably like to win some games a little bit more easily than they have been doing in recent weeks, and as I said, this is another tough test for them, but we're seeing in these games plenty of evidence that they're a team that's able to sort of grind its way through difficult games and find moments to show their class. So we saw more evidence of that again, and I think it bodes really, really well for Liverpool in terms of this season going forward, that ability to fight and grind their way through when things aren't completely going their way, and they showed that again here against a really impressive West Ham side, and particularly after Jarrod Bowen scored that equaliser there. I think that was a real moment where Liverpool's sort of mettle was tested, but they came through it again to get an important 3 points. I'll just go through the players as per usual, talk about how I felt they performed across this game. We'll start with the goalkeeper as ever, and I thought Alisson not too busy, even though West Ham threatened through some of the game. He wasn't getting completely peppered with shots or anything like that, but there was a couple of moments where he really showed his class. One of them was a header that Souček had at the Kop end, which seems to be squirming into the bottom corner. He gets down really low and pushes it around the post. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic save, and that was, I believe, at 0-0 and a really important moment. The goal itself, in terms of Bowen's header, it was just perfectly placed and not one where you'd want to criticise the goalkeeper for it. Just a really, really good header from a player who I thought played really well on the day. In fact, Bowen, he was really impressive. So not one that you can criticise the goalkeeper for it. And otherwise, he was perfect in terms of his, Alisson's passing out from the back, and obviously his ability to come out and catch crosses. I thought we saw a lot of that again today against a team in West Ham who like to go aerial, don't they? So you need your keeper to be commanding, and Alisson was certainly that across this game. Moving into the defence, Joe Gomez at right back. I think there's every chance that this is the last game he plays at right back for the foreseeable future, with Trent Alexander-Arnold being so close to coming back. And I think it's important to know that Gomez has been really, really impressive in that position. He's not as much a natural there as he is maybe at centre-half, but I thought another really, really strong performance from him. I don't really quite like it as much when he inverts into that midfield position, and there was still a little bit of that going on in the game, but I just think he's very capable on the ball, perhaps underrated in that sense, even if he isn't a Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he wins his challenges as well. So I thought another really, really good showing from him, and one, as I say, I think he should be getting credit for the way he's come in and stepped into the team in the absence of Trent Alexander-Arnold in that right back role. He is a really, really strong backup in that position. Elsewhere in the defence, Joel Matip continued here, which I think was maybe a bit of a surprise. You would have maybe thought that Ibrahima Konate would come in for him, but obviously deemed not maybe fit enough to do back-to-back games yet as he works his way back from that muscle injury. So Joel Matip came in, and I thought, for me, in contention possibly for man of the match. I thought a really, really strong performance. I said about West Ham going long and they're looking for that aerial threat. They were looking to use Antonio to get them up the pitch. I thought Matip dealt with that really, really well. He's a strong presence in the air, but he also showed some ability on the ball in terms of bringing it out and offering that threat, which made it really difficult for West Ham to pick up man-to-man. So a really impressive from him. I've got his numbers here: 5 clearances, 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, really good defensive numbers, and I think that backs up the eye test where I thought he was really impressive today. Alongside him, Virgil van Dijk. There'll be a moment, I think, in this game where he gets criticised, which is obviously the Bowen goal. It's an excellent header down low, but obviously Van Dijk looks like he's being caught on his heels a little bit and maybe should get there, and he probably gets some deserved criticism about that. But then I looked at his numbers after the game, and again, I thought he actually did really, really well. You could see it in the game in terms of, yes, he'll get criticism around that goal, but he was impressive in all other elements. And you look at his numbers: 11 aerials, 1. No one else in the Liverpool team gets anywhere close to that. A 95% passing accuracy, which again is really impressive for a player who we know he doesn't just pass it 5-yard passes around him. He's spraying the ball left and right. We saw loads of that today. So yeah, and 2 key passes, in fact, which for a defender to set up 2 shots with his passing, just so it shows you the range he's got and the ability to really pick out those long passes as well. So a really commanding performance from him. He'll be really disappointed, I suppose, around the West Ham goal, but overall really, really strong and really big part of how Liverpool ground their way through this game. On the left hand side of the defence, Andy Robertson. Spoke about it before in terms of, I think he's getting more and more used to that left role, that left hand side role, in terms of when the right back is inverting him, when he should sit in, when he should go, and we're seeing really, really good performances from him, I think, recently. That's backed up by the stats here. He was a constant threat, but he produced 5 key passes, 5 passes that led to shots, and I think that shows you that he was picking the right moments to get forward, and when he did get forward, using the ball wisely and using it well to get Liverpool on the front foot and in good attacking positions. And moving into the midfield, Alexis McAllister back in that holding role. He had a bit of a disaster, didn't he, in his last Premier League outing against Wolves, but he was back to his absolute best here again. I did say to Neil Jones, who was next to me during the match, in fact, that at times I think he struggles in that defensive role because he just lacks that physicality there that maybe a Fabinho would offer you in the past. And West Ham are a very physical, very large team, and so there were some moments there where he got bullied a little bit, but that's something you can't really avoid with his size and the size of the West Ham midfield. Those things are going to happen. I did say just moments before he sets up a goal, I said, is this a game where Liverpool get punished a little bit for not having a natural physical holder in there? But then he produces an absolutely sumptuous ball to set up the Nunez goal, just unbelievably perfect. He's in a position where you think it's almost too straight to clip it in behind, but just picks it out perfectly and gives Nunez that little poke home to make it 2-1, a moment of real genius and class from him. I think the only shame about him being in that deep position is maybe you don't see as much of that ability in terms of his passing, because he's in a deeper position. He's got to think about that defensive side of the game before he thinks about going forward, and he can't get him closer to goal. But yeah, real moment of class from him, and a really strong performance on the ball and off it. He worked his socks off, and even though he lacked physicality, gets about the pitch and tries to get in front, tries to wrestle for the ball. So really good from him again. Elsewhere in midfield, Dominic Szoboszlai, I think he's almost the creative heartbeat of this team. Always looking up, always looking for the pass that can cut defences apart. He's so creative. His touch in tight spaces is perfect as well. So just another really strong performance from him, where he really got Liverpool playing, and also the defensive work. He runs for days. He's always, you see if West Ham got on the counter, he'd always be back there, even though he'd be caught high up the pitch. He sprints back and he makes sure he gets back in, and that helps make Liverpool so much more solid. That was something that they lacked last season, maybe, as the midfield was aging a little bit. Szoboszlai really impressive in terms of that. Curtis Jones in there, again, not a flashy performance from him, I thought, but he did what he always does, which is 96.1 passing accuracy he ends the game with, which I think says a lot about what he does. He's there to sort of facilitate what McAllister and Szoboszlai do. He just keeps the ball, keeps moving it, keeps stretching defences, keeps making runs that open spaces for other really unselfish player, and I thought it was really good. He was unlucky to actually have a goal choked off for a marginal offside with a really good finish from a Szoboszlai, little dink in behind. But yeah, again, like I say, he's a facilitator. He's a player who makes other players play better, and I think it's no coincidence that since he's come back into the team, the midfield looks a lot more solid. Now, moving into the forward line, Mohamed Salah takes his penalty brilliantly. Almost looked like he had a point to prove actually after Darwin Nunez scored his penalty on Thursday, where people asking the question, should he be on penalty duty instead? But Salah emphatically smashes this one home, and I think he ends the game with 5 shots as well. So it just shows you how creative and just how much of a threat he is. And his creative side of the game as well. Some of the passes he was picking out in behind, absolutely incredible. That side of his game is just really come to the fore over the past sort of 12 months or so, and he's as good a creator as he is a goal scorer, which I think is as high a praise as you can give him, given the goal scoring numbers that he's put up since he joined Liverpool. Elsewhere in the attack, Darwin Nunez, he missed a decent chance at the Kop end actually, where Salah had fed him in, and he should have done a lot better and sort of sliced it wide when it was really a simple opportunity to tap it in. But he doesn't let his head drop, does he? He just keeps getting there, keeps getting himself in position to score goals. That's why he always ends games with a lot of shots to his name, and then he scores his goal from that, as I said, the delicious ball in behind from McAllister, just pokes it home, a real poacher's finish, and I think if he keeps scoring goals at this rate and he keeps getting himself involved in this way and showing the hold-up play, which again he showed really well today, then he's going to keep hold of that number 9 shirt. He's going to keep Gakpo out from starting games. So it's a really interesting battle between those two. But as I say, I think if Nunez keeps scoring the goals, he deserves to keep hold of it. Elsewhere in the attack, the last man in attack, Luis Diaz. Again, it was like Nunez really in terms of the Europa League performance. He deserved to start again here, and he showed why. I think he just constantly a threat in behind. He carries the ball up the pitch. That's a big part of his appeal for me. In fact, the dangerous carries and ability to use the ball when he gets into those positions. He's so good at taking the ball, fending off a defender, and then moving it up the pitch and creating danger with his dribbling. So another really good player, a good performance from him, and he's a key man. And again, he looks like he has that left hand side spot nailed down, doesn't he, at the moment? It's going to be really hard to get that shirt off him. In terms of substitutes, just want to mention a couple of players. Jota, we know what he's all about. He's a poacher. He always scores goals when he's on the pitch, and he will have felt a little bit unlucky not to start today because he missed out on that Europa League game as well, but he's going to be in the team quite a lot, isn't he, because he just scores goals, and he proved that again today, just sniffing out that chance from a corner, and he's there for the simple tap, and he will score an awful lot of goals this season. And Gakpo, again, he came on, and again, he would probably feel unlucky not to start this one, but again, another impressive performance from him. His hold up play is second to none. I think that's one area where Nunez, yes, he's improved on that front, but Gakpo is just better in that. He's really, really comfortable taking it in midfield and turning and putting Liverpool on the front foot in that way. So another really strong showing from him off the bench, and I think with a midweek game coming up, will we see Gakpo and Jota? They definitely deserve those starts on the basis of their impact off the substitutes bench. Now, that pretty much wraps it up in terms of how the team's performance has been. I think I want to hear from you guys. Who was your man of the match in this game? Who were you most impressed by? And that wraps it up really from me from Anfield. More videos to come, more games to come. They're coming thick and fast now, all these midweek games, so we'll have previews and press conferences and obviously coverage from the match as per usual. So I'll see you soon.